Hey, what's up everybody? This is Joshua Casper and welcome to another one pack, one track, 1 hour. This is the second one in the series and today we're going to be using Origin Sound's Elevate pack and this is what we're going to be making start to finish. Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another one pack, one track in 1 hour where I'm just producing for about an hour and I'm going to try to make something cool and I'm just going to focus on using one sample pack. Links to the sample pack will be on the blog, so if you're interested in following along or you like what you hear, go ahead and click the links and follow them until you get to the pack. This week it's going to be Origin Sound and I'm using the Elevate pack because I'm in this kind of laid back mood and I'm looking for something a little bit more emotional rather than like club heavy. So first thing we got to do is lay some drums down. So I'm going to come in on drum loops right here and we got some extra percussion, full kick snare, perk tops. So what's cool about this is these are kind of all of the drums, but then if you don't want all of the drums together, you can get them separated. So like let's... So you can see that the full drum loop is then separated into kicks and snares and the percussion into one loop there, which I always like when I'm looking for sample packs because it's kind of difficult when you just get a full drum loop and you want to make some changes. It can get difficult and it's going to be a lot more work to get it to sound good and add variation. But when you got them separated like this, you know, you can get the inspiration quick with the full and then you can start using the pieces in varying ways to get variation. So let's just go ahead and find a drum loop. All right, so that sounds pretty good. I'm gonna drop it right here. Let's go ahead and loop it. Control L to loop. And let's go ahead and just bring it down, I don't know, somewhere around 118. All right, now let's get some good musical stuff going on. Jump in here, let's go to chords. Well, I like that right out of the gate, so let's drop that right there. Extend the drums. And you'll notice too, another thing that I really like in packs is the samples, the audio loops have accompanying MIDI. So if I come in here, I have the MIDI for this piano if I want to change that sound or add something to that sound. And maybe later on I could go ahead and feed those chords into something like Scalar by Plugin Boutique and I can make additional chords and just kind of go from there. I really like when the loops come with the MIDI. I always look for that when I'm looking for packs. But anyway, we got that. Let's jump into the melody. And another really cool thing about these particular sample packs by Origin, if you can look right here, these names have Expanse Brass, Expanse Plus. So this means these samples right here, let's get that out of the way. These samples right here are meant to go together. So it's a good bet if I just take those and drag them right here and drop them, they're gonna fit together nicely. So essentially these are beginnings of tracks already planned out for me. So what I'm gonna do is actually jump into the MIDI and let's find something. Let's drop that right there. And let's find an instrument. If you have Ableton Live Suite, you can get the Grand Piano Pack, which has some really great hybrid instruments inside of it. It's free for download for the Suite users, and I don't know how much it costs if you don't have the Suite, but it's well worth it. Really high quality pianos, and then these hybrids sound really, really great. So let's drop that on there and see what this sounds like now. So I really like this harp time because it's got like this auto pan thing going on. It's really just the ping pong delay, I think, is what's making it happen, but it's kind of moving back and forth. And, I really like to go through. The other one I really like is it's a piano with a pad made by, I believe, Operator. Is another one I always go to when I'm just trying to get ideas quickly. But this sounds pretty good right out of the gate, so... So we got some controls here. I just turned the reverb up a little bit. If I want less of that stereo bouncing going on, I can just use the stereo with control right here. So really great pack. If you have the suite, don't sleep on this pack. Use it. Let's jump back into that sample pack and see what other MIDI we can use. So again, I'm just going to take that because it's already expanse. I know that if you look right here, this says clarity. That's from a different track, but they're all G minor. And that's another really good thing about this pack. Look at all of the samples are G minor. So I can really just pick and choose anything here and it should go fairly well together. Obviously, it's going to be in key. Now, it might not work together nicely, but in terms of music theory and everything playing good sonically, we're good to go. And that's another thing I look for in packs, to be honest with you. And I'm really pumped it's there. So what I think is going to happen here is this would be kind of the intro, and then I would just duplicate this, and this would kind of be like, an escalation of sound. So what we're going to do is jump into the plugins, Native Instruments, Contact, and let's just try analog strings. Oh, what's happening here? So this is by Output, some really gnarly sounds in here. I really like it for film sound design, but it's got some really nice melodic stuff too. Obviously, it's not meant just for film sound design, but it's got some really gnarly sounds that are really interesting, and it's really strange the way they sound, to be honest. So let me see if I can... So if I come in here, this is where we can start kind of narrowing things down and getting some good stuff. So complex or dirty, rises and drops. That's not really what we're looking for. We're looking for something a little more maybe rhythmic. So that might be too dirty. So let's just play it together with the track and see what it sounds like. So it actually could work maybe later when it's like at the tail end of the track where it's kind of going for the finale. That actually might fit well. So that's cool. How can I make that happen more often? I haven't used this enough. It looks like a quarter note. Let's try 16th note. Where's that? 8th, 16th. Okay, so that's not what's making that repeat. Let's jump back in there. Where is that happening? Does anyone know? Can anyone tell me? I don't know. Let's just keep moving on. There's a way to make that repeat because it's just happening over and over again. There's a way to make it loop differently. That's the tuning. Advanced, maybe? Nope. That has to do with that. So, is it an arpeggio? Okay, so it's using the arpeggiator and not the rhythm, so... but I'm not really feeling it for right now. We'll come back maybe. Let's come back in here, and again, we got rhythmic checked. Ooh, you know what I like though inside of this? Let's go ahead and solo it. I just like this. What I'm going to do is duplicate this. Takes a second. I kind of just like that percussion style sound, and I'm just going to keep that. Jump back in and make sure I turn the other one all the way down. No. Cool. And then I just freeze this because I'm not really going to do too much more to that. I just like the way it is, and it's kind of beefy on the CPU, the contact, obviously. So let's jump back in and just try to find some. What I'm looking for essentially is some strings that are played rhythmically or arpeggiated that just kind of add a little bit of something to the track itself. So let me come in here. Got this. Okay, and the next thing I'm going to do is, again, I'm going to drop contact on here a third time, and what I'm going to do is go to exhale. If you don't have this and you're like kind of vocal stuff, you're sleeping, dude. Go ahead and check it out. It's super great. I really dig the loops and slices section here. And you can see right here that if you look at the keyboard in contact, these are the only samples that are loaded, so the rest of this keyboard is going to do nothing. And that's important when you're going to be putting in MIDI. You got to put them inside of this octave right here. Okay, so first thing we need to do is change the pitch of it. So I'm going to come into G minor, right? We can change from major to minor right here, G minor, and hit OK. And one of the things that I absolutely love about this style player is once I've set the key here, I can go through all of these different instruments, loops, and slices, and it will stay in G minor. So I'm always going to be auditioning the samples pitched into the key of my track, and that's phenomenal. If I had to change it back to G minor every time I flip through, I would be frustrated and probably never use it, but it sticks there, so that's pretty dope. So I'm going to come over and just add a MIDI clip here and turn this on to find where so that's where those are. I can turn that off now. I should turn it back on. Turn this on. Boom. Put this over here. Cool. So I think we got a pretty good start here. We got to make some decisions. Maybe a breakdown right here, right? And maybe a fill in between these, just so we know something's happening. Now, another free, in fact, plugin that I like to use when I'm trying to just generate a little fill, nothing crazy, is called Fracture by Glitch Machines. Come over here, Fracture. And what I like to do is just turn it on for the part where it needs to be affected. So I'm going to come in and just turn it off completely, and then Control B for my pen tool, and you can see it's already kind of got a fill here, but this is just going to add a little bit of a different fill. So if I turn this off, so that's with it. If we turn it off, this is without. So you can see there's just adding interest. It's changing it instead of this. This is, the loop is what, 8 bars, 4 bars. And obviously we can come in and we can change the preset. Why can't I change the preset? There we go. So it gets really gnarly. We just got to find something that fits the tone of the track. So we see what it sounds like with the... So I actually just like it right there. So that's cool. So that's just one way to get some interesting stuff. They have another one too called Hysteresis, which I think is pretty sweet. But anyway, let's break it down, right? Let's come back into those samples. Another real cool trick too is, like, if you're over here and you want to go back to the sample pack you're using, just right click and show in browser, and it'll bring you right to where it was, so you don't have to like search through everything. So let's bring in... So remember, this is drum loop 6, so if I come in here, and maybe for the breakdown, we just run it with the percussion. I kind of don't like that crash, though. So it's getting some really interesting results. Not really fitting the track though. Let's go ahead and loop it. I won't take up too much time here. I'm just trying to find something a little bit different. Put a return track in it. Let's go to something like Outer Space. There it is. This is one of my favorites. I think I told you that before, but wet only on, stereo on. Let's see what that part sounds like with some of those high end rolled off. Now let's put that on this channel. So let's jump back into that pack and let's get some other MIDIs for this breakdown, make it a little bit more interesting. Let's come in melody, maybe some chords. Let's see what the come in. Expanse was the, yeah, Expanse. Let's check this out. Oh, that's sexy. So let's just see what we can do here with this. We might have to get rid of this piano and maybe to keep something of interest, keep that piano going. Okay, and let's just do something like Contact. Come into NOVO and the string designer and just see what these do. So this is another pretty beefy Contact instrument. It's pretty expensive too, so I don't expect you to just run out and buy it. But if you can, you should, because it's incredible. Come over here. Let's go into effects. See what we got. I like to come in when I'm trying to do something like for this breakdown. I would like to go to rhythm or arpeggio, and they're marked by RHY or ARP, I believe. So let's just check out this out. So none of that's working. Let's check out organic. And I'm actually going to freeze these because I'm recording this screen and I'm kind of looking over here and I'm getting pretty high. So I'm going to freeze these other ones just so nothing crazy happens. I can freeze this too. What if we just delete all of this and just let these chords play? So I'm not really feeling this. You know what we're missing is bass. Might give me some inspiration. See what this does. What about clarity bass? But again, because there's MIDI, we can come in and just put our own thing. So I'm going to take this expansion bass, put that there, delete this other channel, jump into Serum. Or in fact, you know, let's stick to Ableton Live. What I'm going to do is come into Operator. Where is it? Instruments, Operator, Bass, Hip Hop Sub Bass. And you know what I want? So that sounds pretty good. But you know what I want to happen is I want there to be a little bit of movement here between them. So we're going to come in here and then glide, turn the glide up. So let's just repeat that over here. What happens if we drop it down an octave? It's a little bit too much, so I'm gonna bring it back. And in fact, let's try to make it go up over here instead of in the front. So where was this before? So that's cool. Let's not have it glide on that part. Okay, so that's not working for me. That's unfortunate. Let's check out some of the other ones. That doesn't work. Let's try Serum. Jump in. Oops. Yes, please. 808 bass state. That's a little bit too low still. See, that's trying to sync up with this piano, but it just sounds weird. I might have to change the bass patch. You know, I have another instrument that might work better because it kind of got an acoustic feel here. So what I'm going to do is jump into plugins and jump into my ample sound, and let's see, I think this is the one. It's a cello, a stand-up bass, I think. Yeah, let's let that load, see what that sounds like. So let's highlight. What if I drop down? No, it's outside its range. Another thing I found with ample sound instruments, if you come in and you go over to tab and then play it, it will actually set up all of the effects and everything in the settings for this particular tab, but it's a good place to start as opposed to just the main settings because it does tweak it a little bit and add a little bit of flavor. So that sounds dope. Let's add some sort of saturator on there, maybe a tape, Softube, tape. Drop the grand channel on it. I'm trying to get a little bit beefier. And another EQ, there's an instrument EQ called EQ Bass Modern. That's really dope. I'm gonna put the tape at the end. Another quick thing too, if you group everything together, Control G or group right there, you can actually bypass everything really quickly. There we go. Cool. And let's go back into that MIDI to see if this particular, come on, dude. This particular patch here works a little bit better for the actual MIDI chords, bass chords, expansion. No. Nope. Ambient machine bees. What the fuck? I'm gonna close that. Okay, so that's pretty dope, right? Because it's choppy, kind of like the rest of it, kind of getting a glitch feel going on. Another quick note while we're working here, and I'm copying and pasting frozen contact instruments, the reverb will be abruptly ended right there. So before you export the track, or you're looking, if you find an issue somewhere, just unfreeze and then refreeze. And when you do that, if your computer is running out of space like mine is, you need to go into the project and delete the older frozen versions, because they'll be stored inside of the project file and they can add up quite quick because they're all 32 bits. So another cool way to get some risers real quick is to use Air Music Technologies riser. I believe it's just called the riser. Bring it over here like this. We're looking at 8 bars. Come into plugins, riser, the riser. That's all it's called. And the way this works is you drop it down to get longer patches. So if I drop it down 2 octaves, so I'll move this over, come over here, come into the riser and choose a different one. That's what I want. Just want it in the background there. And what we can do is make a little bit more of a fill. Come over like this, like this. Maybe, yeah. Who knows? Just trying here. Auto filters on and off. Come back in. Push. You know what? Let's leave it on. It's difficult for me to see this far away where those little dots are in this particular skin, but let's leave it on and then just adjust the frequency over time. So to open it up. You know what I mean? Let's jump out. Just want that there. Okay, so I like how that part sounds, but not the rest of this. So maybe if I take Control B for that pen tool again. Let's come back into that auto filter. Control B. Super handy, by the way, that Control B stuff. Let's see if there's another drum fill we can use from a different track. So again, oops. Show in browser. Let's see what that one sounds like. Put it right here. Take that. Copy. Paste. And nope. Nope, 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 nope. And if you didn't know, these fades things work pretty handy for something like this. So what are you thinking? I dig it. It needs a lot of work. It didn't go as smoothly as I wanted it to, but this is a really good start to something. I mean, I was kind of in a moody mood when I started, and this has definitely helped keep me there. Let's put a little bit of reverb on that little medley down there. Is that a medley? I don't even know what it is. Pro R, my new go-to for just plain reverb stuff. Let's find a nice preset. Medium. Small church. You know what's happening? Oop. Is it's not. It's too mix 100%. So as you can see, my computer's really starting to crackle because I've got too much going on with the screen recorder. So I'm just gonna go ahead and freeze it. I think it sounds pretty good. Frozen. Let's freeze this too. just for fun. And while it's happening, let's check how long we've been recording. 46 minutes. So we're close to the end of an hour. This is a pretty solid idea, I think. Okay, so I think that's where I'm going to stop. This needs some work here, especially in terms of it's kind of washed out right now. It's kind of filtered out, and I want it to be a little bit brighter. Not too much brighter because this is supposed to be a breakdown, and who knows what's going to happen there, but I definitely need some work, and I'm not sure how much work I can do without it completely destroying my computer from the screen recording and just the immense amount of RAM it takes to run that instrument. But this is a pretty decent track. It's definitely a good track idea, and I think we did something cool here today. Anyway, I hope you learned something. We'll see you next time.